Imagine opening your grandfather's old ball and discovering a fragile, yellowed land title, a document that has survived decades, carefully preserved among family heirlooms. This isn't just a piece of paper, it's a tangible link to your family's past, a record that clearly marks the boundaries of the land your ancestors called home. It's a symbol of legacy, responsibility, and the stories passed down through generations. Now, imagine the shock when a neighbor suddenly starts building a fence across your property, confidently claiming that the land is theirs. They wave around a new, unofficial map, one that ignores the history and the documents your family has safeguarded for years. The dispute isn't just about land, it's about truth, memory, and the right to defend what's rightfully yours. In that moment, you'd reach for your grandfather's deed, the official record, stamped and signed, recognized by law. You'd insist that it's not just opinions or new drawings that matter, but the weight of history and the authority of legal documents. These papers are more than ink and signatures. They are the foundation of your family's rights and identity. This personal story mirrors the story of the Philippines itself. Our national territory isn't defined by shifting claims or the latest opinions. It's anchored in historical documents, official treaties, and the collective memory of our people. These records are the backbone of our sovereignty, shaping our identity as a nation. The Treaty of Paris, signed in 1898, stands as our nation's foundational land title. It's a legal cornerstone, a document that established the boundaries of the Philippines in the eyes of the world. This treaty is not just a relic of the past, it's a living testament to our nationhood, recognized by international law and respected by generations. So when Malacañang asserts that no amount of erroneous opinion can erase our rights, it's not just rhetoric. It's the government holding up our historical deed, standing firm against modern disputes and reminding everyone that our sovereignty is rooted in law, not in the shifting sands of current events. Understanding the origins of our national map isn't just a task for historians or government officials, it's a responsibility for every Filipino. By knowing our history, we connect with our ancestors, understand the struggles that shaped our nation, and gain the confidence to defend our rights. This knowledge empowers us to stand together, united by a shared past and a common purpose. Just as you would fiercely protect your family's land, the Philippines must rely on its legal foundations to safeguard our territory. By honoring our history and upholding our rights, we ensure that future generations inherit not just land, but a legacy of pride, unity, and sovereignty. To understand the Treaty of Paris, let's go back to 1898, a time of revolution in the Philippines. The air was thick with hope and uncertainty, as Filipinos from all walks of life rose up against centuries of Spanish colonial rule. In the streets of Manila and across the islands, revolutionaries dreamed of a nation finally free, while the world watched as an old empire began to crumble. For Spain, it was a period of decline and retreat. The once mighty Spanish Empire, which had ruled the Philippines for over 300 years, was losing its grip, not just here but across its global colonies. The Spanish flag, once a symbol of power, was being lowered for the last time in many places. While Filipinos fought for freedom on their own soil, far away in Paris, diplomats from Spain and the United States gathered to decide the fate of the archipelago. Not a single Filipino was invited to the table. The future of millions was negotiated in a foreign language, in a foreign land, by foreign powers. In Article 3 of the treaty, Spain agreed to cede the Philippines to the United States for $20 million. But it wasn't just a transfer of ownership. The treaty drew precise boundaries for the first time, using lines of latitude and longitude to define the extent of the Philippine archipelago. These lines, written in ink on paper, would have consequences for generations. This act, though undeniably colonial, marked the first moment our islands were defined as a single entity in international law. Before this, the Philippines was a collection of islands with shifting borders and identities. Now, the world recognized a boxed-in territory called the Philippine Islands. The treaty's box on the map became the legal foundation for the Philippines territory. Even after the end of colonial rule, these boundaries remained. They became the starting point for our nation's legal definition, shaping how we see ourselves and how others see us. Today, when disputes erupt over islands or seas, especially in the West Philippine Sea, lawyers and diplomats still turn to the Treaty of Paris. It's the first document they cite, the original reference point for our territorial claims. The lines drawn in 1898 continue to influence international debates and courtrooms. The Treaty of Paris is not a document of liberation, It did not grant us freedom, nor did it reflect the will of the Filipino people, but it is the primary legal instrument that established our national borders, a fact that remains central to our identity and sovereignty. Malacañang's stance is clear. This internationally recognized treaty cannot simply be erased or rewritten by new interpretations or revisionist claims. It stands as a cornerstone of our legal rights, recognized by the world and upheld by our government. Our territorial rights, our claims to land and sea, are rooted in this deed. Its legal standing remains unshaken, even as the world changes and new challenges arise. More than a century later, the lines drawn in Paris still define the Philippines on the world stage, reminding us that history, law, and identity are forever intertwined. The Treaty of Paris marked the start of American rule, not Filipino freedom. The U.S. ignored our Declaration of Independence, leading to the Philippine-American War, a brutal conflict that cost countless lives. Under American administration, the archipelago was unified and our boundaries were reinforced by further treaties, like the Treaty of Washington and agreements with Britain. These legal instruments solidified the Philippines as a single entity in international law, governed from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi. The American colonial period set the stage for our modern nation, linking the lines drawn in Paris to the republic we know today. After decades of American rule, the Tidings-McDuffie Act of 1934 set the Philippines on a path to independence. The Commonwealth government, led by Filipinos like Manuel L. Quezon, was inaugurated in 1935, a dress rehearsal for full sovereignty. This era was about nation-building, strengthening the economy, developing a national language, and preparing for self-rule. The boundaries set by the Treaty of Paris were now administered by Filipinos, uniting the islands under one government. The Commonwealth was a crucial training ground, fostering national identity and experience in self-governance. But just as independence neared, World War II erupted, threatening to derail the dream. The transition to freedom was interrupted by global conflict, testing the nation's resolve. The promise of independence would have to survive the darkest trial in Philippine history. In December 1941, Japan invaded, shattering the Commonwealth's progress. The government went into exile, a puppet regime was installed, and the nation endured 3 years of brutal occupation. Despite suffering and atrocities, Filipino resistance never wavered. Guerrillas fought on, keeping hope alive. The occupation tested our unity, but shared hardship forged a stronger national identity. Liberation came in 1945, but at a terrible cost. Manila lay in ruins, and the country was devastated. Yet, the nation survived, and the path to independence reopened. The war reinforced our resolve to reclaim freedom and defend the territory defined by history. The Filipino spirit emerged stronger, ready to build anew. On July 4, 1946, a new chapter in Philippine history began. After decades of colonial rule, the Philippines finally became a sovereign nation. The American flag was lowered, and the Philippine flag was raised high in Manila, symbolizing the birth of a free republic. The air was filled with hope and pride as crowds gathered to witness this historic moment, marking the end of one era and the beginning of another. Manuel Roxas took the oath as the first president of the Third Republic, stepping into leadership at a time of both celebration and uncertainty. While the nation rejoiced, independence came with significant conditions that would shape the country's future. The Philippines, still recovering from the devastation of World War II, relied heavily on U.S. economic and military aid. Agreements like the Bell Trade Act and the Military Bases Agreement tied the young republic to American interests, influencing its economy and security policies for decades. Despite these lingering ties, the Philippines now had full authority over its territory, as defined by the Treaty of Paris. The government began to exercise its newfound sovereignty, navigating the challenges of self-governance and nation-building. Over the years, the nation gradually asserted its independence, culminating in the historic decision to end the U.S. Bases Agreement in 1991. The shift of Independence Day to June 12 further honored the country's own revolutionary spirit, reconnecting Filipinos with their pre-colonial struggle for freedom. The map, once drawn and redrawn by colonizers, was now the map of a free state, its boundaries protected and cherished by its people. Filipinos took pride in their land, their identity, and their right to self-determination. The process of decolonization was long and often difficult, but the Philippines continually worked to achieve genuine independence within its historic borders. Each milestone was a step toward true nationhood. Our journey from colony to republic is a testament to the resilience of the Filipino spirit and the enduring power of legal foundations. Today, we honor the sacrifices and triumphs that shaped our nation, and continue to protect the freedom so hard won by generations past. The Treaty of Paris remains the legal bedrock of the Philippine archipelago. It transformed scattered islands into a single, internationally recognized territory, a framework inherited by the Commonwealth and the Republic. Our Constitution enshrines this definition, and all subsequent laws and agreements build upon it. Modern claims to our exclusive economic zone and continental shelf trace back to the boundaries set in 1898. The treaty is our mother title, the source of our rights and claims. Without it, our territorial assertions would be far weaker. This is why Malacañang stands firm. History and law, not shifting narratives, define our nation. The lines drawn in Paris, reinforced by decades of governance, give the Philippines a powerful, legitimate claim on the world stage. When Malacañang warns against erroneous opinions, it's defending the legal and historical facts that define our territory. International law values treaties and long-standing practice. Opinions don't override official documents. The Treaty of Paris recognized globally past sovereignty to the Philippines upon independence. To ignore this chain of legal succession is to undermine international order. History isn't a buffet. We can't pick only what suits us. Denying the treaty's role would weaken our claims and create a legal vacuum. Our leaders use every tool history has given us, even those forged in colonial times, to defend our interests. An informed citizenry is our best defense against disinformation and revisionism. The story of the Treaty of Paris is a lesson in the power of history. Our borders were shaped by wars, treaties, and the sacrifices of generations. This history is our legal and moral foundation for defending our territory. Knowing our past transforms lines on a map into a living heritage. The responsibility to understand and defend our history belongs to every Filipino. An educated, historically conscious nation is our greatest shield. Let's honor the map, not as a colonial relic, but as a testament to our survival and sovereignty. History is our guide and our defense, knowing it is the most fundamental act of patriotism.